Morning.
Good morning, Representative. How are you?
I'm great. Sorry, I was finishing up reading to some kids at elementary school, so
Oh, great.
it's crazy.
Good morning, Rep. Tarsky.
Hey, morning.
And good morning, Rep. Hung.
Morning, how are you?
Looks like you're in all three different environments, which is very good, classic for the 9:30 call, which is come as you are. We'll give folks a minute to join us. We're so happy to continue our first year legislator meet and greet here on the 9:30 call. And as we get started, Neri is going to share. March is 9:30 call anniversary territory. So 5 years ago, we started the 9:30 call. And so for our fourth anniversary, as many of you know, we had Governor Maura Healey join us on the call. How do we top that? Well, we're going to broadcast live from Worcester. So we will be in Worcester on Thursday, March 20th in the Sachs room. So we will have time before and after the call. We will plan an hour call that day, which is unusual, 9:30 to 10:30. And if you can't join us in Worcester, we are encouraging folks to host watch parties, which could be two people is a watch party, or in a conference room with more people. We've already heard from folks in Somerville that they're planning a watch party, and we will get all those materials ready this week and send them out so that you will be able to see all the information. But thanks, Neri. So we will put the registration link in the chat today to join us in Worcester on Thursday, March 20th. And so we're so happy to have three representatives of this morning. And as you may have heard or read, the 9:30 call started in March of 2020, kind of as a COVID response to keep the early childhood community on the same page, a place to share information. We were literally making policy on the 9:30 call as we were trying to reopen childcare. But we have continued this call 4 days a week. We did it 5 days a week for 2 years and then went down to four. And in that election of November 2020, we did the first year tour on the 9:30 call that January and February. And I used to go and visit the bullpen and walk around and meet all the legislators in person. But this has been an incredible experience to have the representatives and new senators come to tell us a little bit about you. I'm sure there are constituents on the call. This is a statewide call, and sometimes some of our national partners sneak in as well. So our first question for everyone that joins the call is for each of you to tell us a little bit about you, and how you came to be in this current role, and then maybe tell us also about your district. So why don't we do Representative Reid, Tarsky, and Hung, because that's how you're on my screen.
Sure. Well, thank you all so much for this opportunity. I honestly wasn't familiar with the 9:30 call until I started campaigning. And one of my constituents is very, very passionate and said, "You got to get on this. You got to get on this." And I never had an opportunity to do so because I was campaigning. But it's good. It's good to be here.
Here you
Uh,
are.
Here we are. Here we are. But how I got involved, growing up, I faced a number of hurdles, such as housing insecurity and watching my family struggle with substance use. And I was really only able to overcome these obstacles because of my community. So really dedicated my life to giving back to it. After college, I began to get involved in a bunch of community initiatives and community boards, and then eventually I landed a job in the state house. I worked for Senator Crichton for about 3 years, so I've worked with many of you on different initiatives. And then I got elected to the Lynn School Committee, and now the seat opened up, and I'm elected to the 11th Essex, which is half of Lynn and Nahant. So the work you're doing here, the work you guys do, is very relevant. And just one last thing, my 5-month-old son is actually starting childcare tomorrow, his first day. So very timely call, and excited.
That's incredible. That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You want me to go, Amy?
Yes, please.
Oh,
Thank you.
great, great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite and being here and meeting and speaking with all of you. My journey begins probably September 11th, 2001, when the Twin Towers fall. I was at Yale University, and it made me rethink what I was going to do with my life. I decided to graduate from school and then join the U.S. Army in a special program that allowed people to try out for the U.S. Army Special Forces, or Green Berets. After 2.5 years, I made it, deployed twice to Afghanistan, once to Honduras. And during the last deployment, I thought that the way we were going about nation building as a country was largely ineffective, that we had to fix education and laws for Afghanistan to get on its feet. So I left active duty, got accepted into Harvard, where I did an international education policy program, but decided to stay with the American school system. So I actually applied to Lawrence High School and became an English as a second language school teacher, and fell in love with the career, supplementing my income by getting a law degree through the GI Bill at night, um, and continuing on in the National Guard as a judge advocate, where I'm currently a major serving in Reading today. As far as education goes, I went on to become an administrator, both on the Cape and Sandwich and Mashpee, and then just recently left Holbrook Middle High School as a 6 through 12 public school principal. Politics is relatively new to me, but I'm learning a lot, meeting a lot of great people with Tara, Sean, and everyone on this call. And education's near and dear to my heart. So glad for the work you do and for having me on board this morning.
And Rep. Tarsky, tell us about your district.
Sure. So I represent Needham, Dover, and Medfield. Good school districts, good towns. You know, kids go there. I've got a 16, 8, and a 2, so a wide spread to keep me busy. Um, and yeah, they're good towns. They're affluent and very civically involved, whether with the MBTA Communities Act and some of the stuff that we experience there, or just with always having busy election seasons for school committee, select board.
Right.
It's they're good towns who are really involved in their civic duties.
Thanks so much,
Yeah.
Representative Hong.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Amy, for the invitation to be on here this morning. I'm currently at the State House. The bullpen, someone have a meeting, so I'm currently in the hallway. So forgive me if I keep looking
Your
around.
glamorous life as a state rep, right? We heard about last week. We heard from Rep. Badger and Rep. Sylvia about what the actual bullpen is, and if you weren't here, it's basically the two hearing rooms in the State House where they put all the first year legislators.
That's right. So a little bit myself. I'm originally from Cambodia. I came to the United States in 2013. I went to Lowell Public School in the city of Lowell, graduated from Lowell High School, and then I went to University of Massachusetts Lowell, graduated there in 2022 with a major in political science and a minor in criminal justice. I started to get involved in the community through local nonprofit. I work in nonprofit, mainly on the groundwork to get resource and support to the people in our community here in the city of Lowell. And also advocating for voting right and getting people to understand why voting is important as well. I ran for this position twice. The first time I ran in 2022 because I believe that it's time for change. It's time to have a better representative who actually want to do the work, to bring this role to be a full-time and active state representative, represent the 18th Middlesex district in the city of Lowell. I ran the first time in 2022 and I lost to the incumbent by 56 votes. It was a close and an amazing race. We ran a hard campaign. And then with the 56 votes showing that the people ready for change. So I ran again and I continued doing the work off campaign season and decided to run again in 2024 with the same three main platform, which is better constituent service, better education, and affordable housing. And we won in last year by close to 200 votes. It was an honor to be in position so far in the past 2 months, and it's a lot of great people. The team that we have here right now, we learn a lot from each other, and we support each other in any way possible. And so far, it's one of the most great position, great job that I'm in so far. I'm honored to be here. And a little bit about my district. I serve the 18th Middlesex district, so just the city of Lowell. Two big area in the city of Lowell, which is called the Highland and the Acre neighborhood. The 18th Middlesex district was drawn to be one of those majority minority district. Is one of diverse community here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and a lot of need from from language support to housing to healthcare support. And I'm really honored to be here and looking forward to serve my district and work with everyone at the State House as well.
And Representative Hung, I was actually in Lowell on Thursday night for the
Nice.
Acre Family Childcare Annual
Ah,
Meeting. I was invited by Lucas, who I know is on the call this morning. We were at Taffeta Music Hall, which
yeah.
was an incredible venue.
I was under the weather that day. I was planning to join, but I got sick.
That's good that you were invited. That I didn't mean to put you out like that. It's so interesting to hear the three of your stories because so many, there's so many different routes to becoming an elected official, and so many folks we know. As we've seen people coming into the State House, people are bringing so many different experiences. So, Rep. Reid, you talked a little bit when you were campaigning about what you heard. So, I guess two questions from all of you. What did you hear from the folks that we heard a lot about door knocking. We know how hard it is to campaign, to get out and to meet the constituents. And what did you hear when you were campaigning? And then we know last week the committees were announced, and so we should have shared on the 9:30 call that Senator Jason Lewis was reappointed to chair of the committee on the Joint Committee on Education on the Senate side, and we have a new House chair. Representative Ken Gordon was appointed to be the House side chair. We know that's a joint committee, so there are co-chairs of the committee. But so each of you, and maybe we can start again with go in the same order. What did you hear when you were campaigning, and how are you feeling about your committee assignments? And thanks to Kate Warren Barnes for that question.
Yeah, sure. I'll kick it off. Yeah, I think the gist of what we heard, in like Rep. Hong said, I represent a very diverse district. People are struggling, whether it's accessing childcare, whether it's housing, whether it's anything. People are just really struggling to pay the bills, and that was the number one thing I heard over and over and over. And not just struggling, I guess, strictly financially, but also to access resources, even if they were there. Which I helped people out throughout the campaign because I had known about resources. It's not just about the financials of it, but also making sure that people know what is out there. But yeah, by far, inflation, housing, childcare, education, etc. And then the second question, I'm on the TUE committee, telecommunications, utilities, and energy, on public health and mental health, substance use and recovery. I'm really excited about all those. I think they play really well into my district and also my personal and professional experiences. So very, very excited about my committee assignment. So
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, walking the streets of Needham, Dover, and Medfield was it's very informative and eye-opening. To echo some of the statements of Rep. Reid, housing was, of course, a big deal. It's very expensive in some of the towns that I represent to afford a home, especially for some of our public servants, teachers, fire, police. They're just priced out of our districts. So, one of the pushes was for the MBTA Communities Act to pass with a bit of overcompliance, right? Doubling the amount that was required. Ultimately, the referendum made it so we couldn't get through with it. But I've been working with local leaders to make sure that there is other options to increase housing, especially for those who do some of the most important jobs in our communities. Price was, of course, a big issue. The utilities has been a big thing that's been on the news lately. That all of us have signed on to various letters, and it looks like some of our work with lowering our utility bills has actually paid off a little bit. If you read the Globe today and over the last couple of days, with some of the rates going to come down. And then the question is just how do we keep our energy costs low over the long term? That's one of the big things in my areas, as well as making housing affordable for people who, do such vital jobs in our areas. My committee assignments, I was hoping for education, but I didn't get it, it's fine. I'm still going to chime in I filed a bunch of bills revolving around education. I'm fresh out of the field. But I got veterans and federal affairs. I think I can bring a lot of value to that. Municipal and regional government. I can help with a lot of the stuff that goes on there. Public service. I think I can help with a bunch of stuff that goes on there, including with making sure that the retirement for teachers is more inclusive. And then What was my fourth? Right, the climate and sustainability. Those are big issues in my districts as well. Making sure that we are on the forefront of the green revolution and making sure that those green technologies lead to jobs that are good and can support families in Needham, Dover, and Medfield.
Thank you. Rep
Yeah.
Hogg.
During my time of door knocking in the community, similar to other district that just mentioned, housing is a big issue. The rent is too high in my district. A lot of people in my district was there's a lot of renter in the 18 Middlesex district, not homeowner, because they cannot afford it. The house is too expensive to buy, but the house also too expensive to rent. So that was one of the big thing that it came up during the campaign. But the other main concern that made me want to run, and also that's what the respond from the community is that people doesn't know that they have a state representative represent the 18 Middlesex district because of the lack of resource, the lack of representation, the lack of showing up in the community itself from the last incumbent. So the goal for this term right now, what I've been doing is to try to get my contact information out to people so people know that they have a state representative, they're representing them, and they can reach out if they need any help support with housing issue, healthcare, apply for mass health, apply for fuel assistance. Who should they reach out to relate to education, those kind of stuff. We've been working our best to get this contact out. And when the weather a little bit warmer as well, I'm planning to going out, continue to do those door knocking, and also introduce myself to local business face to face to hand those business cards to them, hoping that they can help spread those contact information out. There's a lot of lack of communication in the district because they don't know who's there, who should they turn to. There's a lot of immigrants who have distrust to the government because where they come from, their experience in their country. I want to build a trust back. So the goal when warm weather will come, not today, it's too cold today, but we'll plan to doing those outreach face to face and hoping we can improve that engagement and civic engagement in the community as well. And the full committee that I got assigned for this session, I'm pretty happy of it. No complaint. I put four in request to the Speaker of the House, and I got one of my four, which is Joint Committee on Community and Development, Joint Committee on Community Development and Small Businesses. There's a lot of small businesses in my community that would be a great committee to be on to bring those resources and information back. Joint Committee on Environmental and Natural Resources, that's also a good one. Joint Committee on Higher Education. I have UMass Lowell in my district. All of it is in my district, so there's a great opportunity to get the insight and help improve my UMass Lowell. Also, as a UMass Lowell alum, it's nice. And, the last one is a joint committee on election law. With my background in the community on civic engagement, get people to vote, and try to encourage more people to come out to vote and support our community. I think this committee has also given me it's connect to my background as well. So I'm happy and I'm looking forward to start doing the work for the Commonwealth in my district as well.
And Rep Hung, I read the interview you did with State House News this morning, and there was a fun fact in there that you are the youngest state representative right now in the Massachusetts House of Reps.
For this session, yes. I bet I beat Ryan Hamilton from Methuen, Rep Hamilton from Methuen. He was the youngest one before this. He's pretty mad about it, but we were joking around. But anyway, I'm the youngest one for this session. And I'm it's an honor. Again, it's a really honor to be in position and able to do all of this amazing work. And it's been only 2 months, but we've been able to connect with so many people and build and help so many people in the district. I'm just happy and nothing to complain.
I will send the chat to everybody. Sean Reid, Tom Weber is also sharing some Lynn connection. There's some discussion about Fluffernutter or Fluff. So the chat is
I'll
full
check it
of
out.
good As always, the chat does not disappoint. Can each of you just talk a little bit about your team? When you come in as a new rep, you usually have one person on your team. So we love to hear about those folks. And then anything in the past 2 months that you're taking away, or like tell us a little bit about that experience. So Rep
Sure.
Reid, tell us about your team and what you're taking away so far.
Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. I hired my campaign manager, Anna Riella Conis. She lives right down the street from me. She's born and raised where in this district, and she's just phenomenal. And I think, like a lot of state reps feel, we really just kind of got lucky on our aides, and they keep the engine running while we do what we have to do. So very grateful. What was the second question again? I'm
Well,
sorry.
and you have a
Two
different
months.
perspective because you were
Yeah,
in the building as a
yeah.
staff, folks. What are you taking away now as a state
Yes.
rep?
Yes. No, I will say this, even as someone who's, been around the building, it is, I cannot believe how much is on the plate in terms of, people fighting to prioritize different things. It is so much. And I really have a new respect for, not just obviously elected officials, but the people, the advocates in this space. Uh, they're making some advocates call me twice a week on certain things. And I'm like, you do this to every rep. So I have a new appreciation for advocates and any, not even just people in organizations, but people who really care about causes in each of our respective districts. One other thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to, is that my wife is also a special education teacher here in Lynn Public Schools. So these issues are very near and dear to my heart, and she has my ear if I do anything wrong. So she's the
That's
strongest
good to
advocate.
know. There's also a lot of well wishes for you tomorrow during your first drop off for your five
Yeah,
month old to childcare. So
there
we'll
might
be
be some
thinking of
tears.
you.
There might be some tears, but we'll
Yeah.
get through it.
By everybody, not just the baby. Okay, Rep Tarsky.
Yeah. So I also took on my campaign manager, Kyle McGrath. He did a fantastic job helping us get elected. He's a Dover resident, which is one of the towns I represent, but not the one that I live in. And like Rep Reid said, just invaluable to getting us organized, a lot of the scheduling, getting our emails organized, making sure I get a little statement about where I'm going and who I'm talking to.
Right.
It's fantastic. So he's done a great job. And if anyone wants to reach out to my office, very personable and organized, be happy to get you in touch with us and schedule meetings, talks, anything you want. We're doing this full time as well, so I've got plenty of options to get out and about. Yeah, I think the first 2 months they've been super busy. Whether it's bill filing and learning that process really quickly,
Right.
you get in office and it's like you got basically 3 weeks to figure out what is one of the most important things that you'll do. So, we met with legal counsel and, got tutorials or still working with them to develop some of the language for the bills that we found important. And most of the bills that I filed revolved around education. I felt I had enough of a pulse on that community that if some of the bills that I filed were passed would actually benefit a diverse group of schools, whether it's the Cape, Lawrence, or Holbrook. Those are very different communities. And I felt,
Right.
the things that we pushed would help each one of them. And then, of course, just relationship building. It's so important to the work of a politician. Shaking hands, meeting people, learning the issues that are important to folks and, the differing sides of what a thing is so that you can actually be well informed. And then I also find that in some meetings, I play like a calmer down type of person, right? Like, let's stay positive. Let's focus on what we can control and make sure that we're all united and fighting for things in an organized, good way against some of the things that are most disturbing to some of us on the Democratic Party. So those are the things that have sort of dominated my time, meetings and trying to file bills and meet people. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
For me, I also hired my campaign manager, but she was my campaign manager for my first campaign in 2022. And then after the first campaign, she came to work at the State House for Senator Ed Kennedy. So she had the experience in the building for 2 years before before I got the opportunity to start serving the 18th Middlesex district. Her name is Michelle Bouchard. She's been a tremendous help in so many ways, helps with schedules, and check-in email, because the first 2 months, like the representatives say, we've been running around the building in our district to just try to show up and learn as much as we can. And sometimes we miss some email, but our staff been really a key important in our office to able to help manage those and keep everything smooth and everything going as planned. And and the first 2 months in this role, I learned a lot in so many different subjects, because so many, especially the first 2 weeks or so in after we swore in, we have 17 days after we swore in to follow a bill, and that was a really crazy time for a freshman to try to understand how the law system works,
Right.
how everything works, and then there's a lot of different briefing and all in almost every single day to just try to get to know and learn every subject that are available here at the State House, so we can do what we can to serve our community. And one thing that I learned that really helped resonate in the way I'm doing in the past in this role is to listen more than talking. Talk less and listen more, and that's what been really helped me to understand about how things work and how to get things done in this building. Because again, not only just me represent as a state representative, we have 160 of us that we have to work together to get things done for our Commonwealth.
Well, it's 10:01. I've asked folks to share some appreciation in the chat for all of you. We do really appreciate, we know your schedules can be really tough, and so happy to have 3 of you on this morning. Please tell your colleagues, we're having a hard time connecting with everybody. So Rep Badger and Rep Sylvia said they were going to let everyone know that this is a friendly environment, and this is really about us wanting to be a resource for you all. As we know, you have to know a little bit about a lot of things. And kind of coming into this role, you need good advocates on the ground, and that's what we can deliver. So many folks have such incredible content information around young children and families. So please consider us a resource. We would love to have you back anytime. I love Rep Reid that you heard about it on the campaign trail. So we just really want to thank you. And if you are comfortable, we know all of your email addresses are on the website on Mass Legislature. And then if you want to connect your staff with us so we can continue, we usually do a little extra special outreach in the beginning of the session to first years. We also, our mantra is today's freshmen is tomorrow's seniors. So we look forward to working with you and want to be a resource. And just thank you so much for joining us this morning. And Rep Reid, good luck tomorrow with the drop off. We'll be thinking of you. And thank you all for coming. And I'll send you the chat. Please, and tune in the rest of this week on the 9:30 call. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Thank you.